Hello and welcome to Lynchburg Live. I'm your host, Linda Smith. Statistics still say that 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer. The upside of that is in recent statistics, fewer women are dying with breast cancer. And I think that some of that, or a lot of that, has to do with organizations like the Susan G. Komen for the Cure organization. And in recognition of Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October, my guest tonight is Lutheria Smith. She's volunteer vice president of the the board of directors for the Virginia Blue Ridge affiliate of Susan G. Komen for the Cure. As a breast cancer survivor, I have a tremendous amount of respect for the Komen organization, so I'm really glad to have you here.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Thank you, and I'm excited about your focus this month on breast cancer awareness.
You know, as we get started, could you tell our audience a little bit about what the Susan G. Komen organization is about?
Okay, Nancy Brinker, the founder of Susan G. Komen for the Cure, promised her dying sister, who was Susan G. Komen, that she would do everything in her power to end breast cancer forever. So in 1982, that promise became Susan G. Komen for the Cure, and it launched a global breast cancer movement. Today, Komen for the Cure is the world's largest grassroots network of breast cancer survivors and activists that fight to save lives, empower people, and ensure quality care for all, and to energize science to find cures. So thanks to events like Komen for the Cure, the organization has invested more than $1.9 billion to fulfill that promise, becoming the largest source of nonprofit funds dedicated to the fight against breast cancer in the world.
And Susan Komen, I think she was diagnosed at 33.
She was.
How long did she live? Do you remember?
I believe it was 3 years after her diagnosis.
So that was tragic, but what her sister has gone on to do, I think, is really a tremendous effort that's just gone global.
Right. It's actually based on a promise between two sisters.
Yep. Well, first tell me about your job, what you do as the volunteer vice president of the board of directors.
Well, really, as a member of the board of directors, we work to administer the affiliate. We are the Virginia Blue Ridge affiliate, is an affiliate that began as the Roanoke affiliate, and now encompasses about 26 cities and counties, to includes Lynchburg and Campbell County, Bedford, and the board is responsible for really overseeing the work of the affiliate in this area. So managing, working with the Race for the Cure committee, responsible for administering the funds that are raised for this in this community. And my role really is to work with the rest of the board, as all nonprofit boards are responsible for board governance, and we are also responsible in the absence of a large number of employees in the affiliate, and we are hiring our first executive director. We're excited about that, but responsible for the management.
So this is like a second job for
you. It is
you.
almost a second job for not just me, but our other 13 board members. But as the vice president, I work very closely with our president and our president-elect, and have more administrative responsibilities, such as working with hiring the executive director, serve as an advisor to our various board committees.
Now, you told me you have a personal reason to be involved with this.
I do. A very personal reason. My mother was diagnosed with breast cancer 9 years ago, and thank God she's a 9-year survivor.
That's wonderful.
It is. And we had no family history at the time that she was diagnosed, and at that point I really believed that we were okay, that we had no history. And
right.
So since that time, I've learned that 85% of women who are diagnosed with breast cancer have no family history. And my mother was diagnosed very early due to her mammogram. And so I can't say enough about how important early detection is and how important it is to get those mammograms, ladies.
Yep.
But what I really hope, the reason that I volunteer my time to serve on the board for Susan G. Komen for the Cure is I have a daughter. And I have a number of friends and other relatives. I think I mentioned that my mother's first cousins, several
Right.
of them, are also breast cancer survivors. I have a number of good friends who are survivors. I also have friends who did not survive.
Right.
And I have a good friend from 6th grade whose mother did not survive. And so I really don't want to, said to my daughter once that I don't want her to get that call from me.
No.
And I certainly don't want her to make that call to her daughter. So
Right.
my hope is that in her lifetime, we will find a cure. And I think with all of the work that Susan G. Komen for the Cure does around the world, along with other organizations, but most specifically since I'm involved with Susan G. Komen for the
Right.
Cure, and I firmly believe they do great work, that we might in our lifetime see a cure.
I hope so.
Or at least in my daughter's lifetime.
You know, being a survivor myself, it's always good to hear things like your mom surviving 9 years, and I think women are surviving longer because of early detection, and you know, we can certainly be very grateful and thankful for that.
Yes.
One of the mammography doctors here in Lynchburg said your greatest risk of being a breast cancer victim is just simply being a woman,
Yes,
and you know, that's sad.
yes.
All right, now, the organization, or I keep calling it organization, but the Komen for the Cure organization, does so many things for breast cancer research. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I think you've already told us how much that the $1.9 billion.
Yes, that the Komen Foundation has contributed more around the world, more than $1.9 billion towards the fight to end breast cancer. And so really since 1982, the Komen for the Cure has played a very critical role in every major advance in the fight against breast cancer, really transforming how the world talks about and treats this disease and helping to turn millions of breast cancer patients into survivors. And you know, if you look at where we were in 1982 and where we are now, there's more early detection. Nearly 75% of women over 40 years old now receive regular mammograms, and that's the single most effective tool for detecting breast cancer early. And in 1982, less than 30% received a clinical exam. So that's, you know, that's a pretty big advancement. The 5-year survival rate for breast cancer when caught early before it spreads beyond the breast is now 98% compared to 74% in 1982. The federal government, there's more research. The federal government now devotes more than $900 million each year to breast cancer research, treatment, and prevention, compared to $30 million in 1982. And there are more survivors, as we've discussed.
Right.
There are 2.5 million breast cancer survivors in the U.S. The largest group of cancer survivors in the U.S. are a living testament to the power and society, you know, the power of society and science to save lives, which is, and a lot of these things are due to the work of Susan G. Komen for the Cure.
Because Susan, this Komen for the Cure is the largest breast cancer organization, is it not?
In the world.
In the world. And you know, to me that's just overwhelming, and I think that they do such a wonderful job. They also are not just in the United States. This is a global organization.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, and the Komen has made an international commitment to ending breast cancer, and so to date, Komen and its international affiliates, you know, like their affiliates here in the U.S., has provided more than $27 million in funding for international breast cancer research and more than $17 million for international community education and outreach programs. There are partnerships with global organizations like Breakthrough Breast Cancer in the UK and the Canadian Breast Cancer Foundation in Canada. They've established ongoing relationships with major international sponsors and non-governmental agencies to build awareness around the world. So there are established affiliates in Italy, Germany, and Puerto Rico. There's a Komen Race for the Cure in Germany, in Frankfurt, in Rome, in Bari, Naples, and Bologna in Italy, and San Juan, Puerto Rico. And the Race for the Cure was expanded with partnerships in 7 other countries: Tanzania, Georgia, Greece,
Wonderful.
Belgium, Bosnia, Herzegovina, and Egypt, and then in 2010 to Brazil and Israel. There is if you go out to the Komen website, there are pictures of the pyramids that were pink for the Race for the Cure.
So cool.
So it is, it's exciting.
You know, in reading about the outreach to other countries and this kind of thing, I was really impressed that they develop breast cancer programs that are specific to different cultures because of, I guess, environmental things that may cause differences in breast cancer and diagnosis and that kind of thing. So I think, I mean, that's certainly to their credit. And Susan Komen would be amazed at what has been done in her name, and I think this is wonderful. All right, not only do they invest large sums of money for cancer research, they also do things like educate, and can you tell us a little bit about that?
Education, advocacy, and health services and social support. So there are, as I mentioned, in in certain communities, a part of ending breast cancer is educating people on how to go about it, on the need for mammograms, on the need for early detection. And so the Komen for the Cure invests not only in research, but as you put it in education. Our local affiliate has an education committee, and we we have a committee that goes out to community organizations and community events to provide education and promote awareness on breast cancer.
And here you are.
Yes, and here I am.
Doing
this
exactly
is an
that same
opportunity.
thing. And the basic message that the Komen for the Cure is trying to get out is just early detection.
Right. And I think our board chairman says it best, in that what we want are, we can do all of the educating that we can do.
Right.
But what we really want are changes. We want people to actually go out and get a mammogram. We want you to not only know that you should, but actually to do it. Changed behavior. Because there is the potential for just having a bunch of educated people with breast cancer if we don't translate that education into changed behavior. So that really is the goal of the education and the advocacy, and the research is we want to have changed the research, we want to find cures, and the education we want to change behavior.
I'm sure you know women, like I know women, who are really would like to see this disease end, but they are so afraid of going and getting that mammogram. And then there's some women who won't go because they say it hurts. Personally, I could put up with 30 minutes of discomfort because it's not really pain.
Right.
When you stack that up against your life.
Right.
I just think women need to be educated in that area.
And that is some of that is cultural, and some of it is, I do think there are people who can't afford it, and so that's a part of the money that we raise. There are a number, and if you go to the website locally, the www.virginiablueridgeaffiliate.com, or if you just go to www.komenforthecure and put in your area, you can get to our affiliate, or the national is komen.org. There is information on partners and ways that you can, those who cannot afford a mammogram can get them. But you're right. I think there are people who are fully educated and fully
Right.
can afford, have insurance or the means to have a mammogram, and they're afraid. I work with ladies who say, "Oh, I hear it hurts and I'm not going to have one." And I say, first of all, having seen my mother go through a mammogram, I know that kind of pain is nothing compared to the
right.
pain of having a mammogram. And certainly thinking about your children living without you or
Exactly.
your family is nothing compared to the pain for a few moments of a mammogram. And really, I think with the new, I've had that new,
The digital.
the digital.
Yeah, me too.
That's a lot less painful,
Right.
it seemed to be, than the old. So I do just, I can't say enough, I encourage you. A few minutes of pain, it really isn't any more than plucking out an eyebrow. I don't
Exactly.
think.
Exactly. Or really kind of a deep-rooted eyebrow.
Right, a deep-rooted eyebrow it's no more painful than that.
So we can get, I'm going to skip a few questions simply because I wanted to focus now on what we do in our area. If we have time, I'll come back and ask you the rest of them. But locally, what kind of fundraising activities do we do here in the area?
Virginia Blue Ridge.
Yeah.
We have our biggest fundraiser is the Race for the Cure, which will be in 2012 in downtown Roanoke on April 12th is the Race for the Cure. And so we invite everyone. You can go to the website and sign up and form a team. It's on a Saturday. And the money raised, 75% of all the funds raised stay here in the Roanoke, or the Virginia Blue Ridge area, and 25% goes to national to support national research.
That's another thing that I like about the Komen Foundation is your money stays here to
Right.
take care of the people in this area who have the problem. And
Right.
I just think that that's one of the most special things, and one of the reasons that I am an advocate of the Komen for the Cure.
And it's one of the reasons that it is such a well-respected brand. And so in the Komen Virginia Blue Ridge affiliate, in the last couple of years, we've had 2 races so far. We've granted over $500,000 to local
Wonderful.
organizations supporting our mission.
Now, will Lynchburg have a separate event, or will they participate in the event that's in Roanoke?
They will participate in the event that is in Roanoke. And, this will be the first year that Lynchburg is a part of the Blue Ridge affiliate.
Right. I knew that.
And we were formerly the Roanoke affiliate, and Lynchburg was part of Richmond. Now that Lynchburg has joined, the name has changed to be more inclusive of everyone that we serve. And so our hope is that in the future, as the race grows, there might be a need to have one
Both
in Lynchburg also.
That would be cool.
So that would be cool. And certainly that would raise more money to fund more opportunities for
Right.
cures in our area.
You've brought some really great pictures with you. Phil, if you'll put those pictures up on the screen, there you go. That couldn't have been a better one to begin with, could it?
That's a picture of one of the racers in the Race for the Cure, and that was the race last year that was held in Salem, or Roanoke County,
Obviously,
at Green Hill Park.
it's not just people who are cancer victims, breast cancer victims. It's families, and this is obviously a man.
Yes, and men are
They are.
also breast cancer. Our first race in 2010, we had a gentleman who is a survivor, and he has done over 70 or so races around the country. And he's not from our area, but he travels around doing races for the cure to promote the awareness that men also have breast cancer.
Exactly.
So this gentleman that is a picture of our board chair, Dr. Bob Williams, who is a surgeon in Roanoke. And this is an event, Shout It, from the mountaintop, and it's at the Star on Mill Mountain in
Wonderful.
Roanoke. And there's an event held in October where women, this is another race team. And I can't, it's a large, isn't that neat? That's the running ribbon logo at the race. Some other racers. So as you can see, it's as you said, not just survivors and but it's families, it's friends, it's corporations.
Now this, I think, is a mother and daughter.
This is our board president-elect, and who is a survivor. Her mother was finally lost her battle with breast cancer, and this is her cousin who comes from North Carolina every year to do the race with her, in honor of her mother and herself as a survivor. This is that is a mother and daughter who did the race together. You see the New Balance sign?
I did.
They are one of the sponsors.
Is Yoplait, do you know if they're still?
They are.
They are.
So we encourage you to buy Yoplait yogurt and mail in those box tops or send them to the office, and we will send them in.
That picture of that little baby on her shirt, the shirt says, right there, it says, "Find a cure before I grow boobies."
Yes, and that's our goal, is to find a cure in her lifetime.
And I think that's a wonderful message.
And she is the daughter of a survivor.
That's good.
It's Ray of Hope, one of our top teams. This was a shouted event, and people who stand up and explain why they are the cure. We have a lot of survivors that come,
Right.
a lot of family members. That's our shout at choir.
Cool.
These ladies have incredible voices. That was the first shout event in 2009. Team Smith Mountain Lake. See,
That's a cute
all
little girl.
ages, all stages of life.
Yep.
So we invite everyone to come out for the Race for the Cure in April 2012.
I like the logo. Can you tell us what the logo, the ribbon, means?
It is the running ribbon is as we've talked about, the Race for the Cure
Right.
is the largest fundraiser for Komen, and so that running ribbon sort of signifies the race.
Do you know
Celebrates the race, I think.
approximately how much money is brought in locally? I mean, that's probably hard to.
From the race, or just
from that
and
particular event.
There are a number of events. We have on September 30th, and so by the time this airs, I think that will have passed.
Right.
We will have Jason Aldean, who is a country pop singer. Every year, chooses a venue and all of the proceeds from the concert go to the local Komen affiliate, and this year he's chosen Roanoke.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And that's just exciting for us. And so, and he will allow us to have educational materials there to share, and so that will be, in other cities that event has raised over $100,000 dollars. So that's exciting, and we have events all year long where people want to raise money and donate it to smaller events, and donate the funds to Susan G. Komen for the Cure, to the local affiliate. So in the last couple of years, as I indicated, since 2009, 2010, we've donated over $500,000. So in this area, and so 25% has gone to our national headquarters.
Do you have any idea how many volunteers we have in? I guess this is a region.
It is. It's a region. We have hundreds of volunteers. I mean, we have a volunteer bank with hundreds of names of folks who want to volunteer in one capacity or another. We can always use volunteers. We would love to have more volunteers from the Lynchburg area. And so we invite all of you to please go to the website or call the office if you're interested in volunteering. And there are opportunities to volunteer, not just at the race, although we can use you there, but there's an education committee, there's a fundraising committee, there are, we can use assistance in the office, we can use assistance with our web page. So whatever your talent, whatever you want to give, however you want to volunteer your time, we can find a way to use it.
And just contact you all through
Yes.
the website. We only have about 3 minutes.
And the office number is also on the website, so
Okay.
you can find it there and call the office.
Only have about 3 minutes left, which is kind of hard to believe. If you could say one thing to our audience about the Susan G. Komen for the Cure, the races, how it affects you, what would you say?
I guess I would go back to what what we've discussed earlier, that Susan G. Komen I think the facts speak for itself, that since 1982, an organization that began with one woman's promise to her dying sister, a promise that I hope most of us won't ever have to make, or a situation that we won't have to find ourselves in, and we're likely not to, based on the strides that have been made in breast cancer research to date. But a promise from one sister to another that I will do everything I can do to end breast cancer forever has led to $1.9 billion in funding for research and education and the fight to end breast cancer forever. But that, again, means nothing if we don't, as women, take responsibility for our own health care and begin by being your own best advocate and having a mammogram. Early detection is key. Breast cancer is very real, and there's no reason for women to die from breast cancer today. So I would say that Susan G. Komen is one of the most respected brands for the amount of money that is raised and actually used, not for administrative, not to pay people in offices, but actually to fund research. So if you are interested in donating, you would be donating to a very worthy cause, and your money will be spent as it is intended to fight breast cancer.
Thank you so much for being on the show. You've given us some excellent information, and as a survivor, I really appreciate what the Komen organization is doing.
Thank you.
I hope you've enjoyed tonight's show and will consider becoming involved in some way during Breast Cancer Awareness Month in an effort to stop this disease in our lifetime. My Halloween show will feature Seven Hills Paranormal Society. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.